Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, you may not know this, but I have an addiction to altering playing cards. This is probably my maybe 6th or 7th video where I'm altering a playing card. I just like to try all different techniques. This one I'm going to try and make the cards into a shaker box style, and I'll show you how we're going to do that near the end. But first we're going to just cover the cards with some napkins that I have. I like the soft napkin that I've selected with some print on and some little flowers and a butterfly, and I'm going to use Mod Podge to adhere those to the card. Also in this video I'm going to also decorate the back of the card. I've often been asked the question with my other altered playing cards if I decorate the back, and in the others I haven't, but this one I'm also going to decorate the other side so it's double-sided. So I'll start off with the thin layer of the Mod Podge, which will act as the glue, and I just place the tissue paper over. But while I'm placing that, I realize that I don't like that the card print is shining through quite so brightly. I want to mute it down a little bit. So I just remove the tissue paper and add a small piece of the tissue paper from a dress pattern with some of the writing. If you've seen my other videos, I use this very often because I do like the print that shines through. So I'm just tearing a piece off, specifically parts with writing or any kind of markings, and I'm going to add that first and then add the designed tissue paper on the top. So you can see the different layers shining through. You can see the card print, the dress pattern writing, and then the napkin. So it gives it a bit of depth, and I do like how those layers shine through. It gives it a lot of interest. We're just going to dry this really well. And before I trim it, I'm going to prepare the back. I'm just going to put a quick thin layer of gesso just to prepare the base, and then I'm going to paste some dress pattern tissue paper over the back as well. If you don't have tissue paper or napkins or any dress patterns like this, you could also use paper scraps for the back or the front. It's a good way to use up any scraps in your scrap box because you only need little pieces and you can make them color coordinate your project. So this is just an idea of how to do it, but what you use and how you go about it is totally up to you. After I trim the excess, I just check the corners, and if any of them are lifting, I just use a bit of the Mod Podge to secure those down. I'm adding a few extra layers. I think I've added 3 for each card. I just love the way it shines through. I love layering, and the more you can see through, I think the better. I'm using some distress ink for the edges. The color I'm using is Vintage Photo, but you can use anything that you have, and I am doing both sides. To add more dimension, I am stamping some handwriting with my acrylic stamp and some black ink, and then I'm applying a thin layer of Mod Podge to seal it. This will prevent any of the ink smudging or the tissue paper tearing. It's just sort of like a sealer for the final layer. We're now going to start preparing for the shaker box. Now what I'm going to use as the covering is this plastic, which I actually got from a bedsheet packet. So I bought some flannel winter bed sheets and they came packed in this plastic. And as soon as I saw it, I thought this would be really good to try to make a shaker box. So I cut a piece that's slightly larger than the card, and I'll explain that in just a bit. I'm just now going to find all the little bits and bobs that I want to put inside my shaker box. I don't have a lot of different things. I've just gone through my stuff and seen what I have. I have a few little flower sequins, some flat sequins. I'm just putting in a little bit of everything. You don't want it too full because then it just gets too lumpy. So whatever you really have, there's a little star like glitter, but it's quite large pieces and the little stars. So I'm just adding a few, and also you can actually make your own little confetti. So I've just taken a piece of black cardstock. It's black on both sides, which I think will contrast well with the details in the napkin. So I'm just punching that with my little hole punch. I've got the small punch and the larger punch, and I'm just adding those as part of the confetti inside, which I think brings a really good contrast. And that's an easy way. If you don't have any sequins or anything else to put in your shaker box, just make yourself some confetti. I'm now going to stitch the plastic on top of the card. I'm going to use a sewing machine for this. Unfortunately, I don't have my sewing machine on camera, so I'll be doing this off camera. But the reason I cut the plastic larger than the card is just that it's easier to sew. If you've cut the top layer exactly the same as the card, it's going to be quite difficult to keep everything aligned while it's under the sewing machine, and things are going to slip and it's not going to be very successful. So just cut it larger, and then you can always, we will just trim it afterwards once it's been sewn. We're now going to trim the remaining overhanging plastic all the way around. Now, if you don't have anything like this to use, you could also maybe use vellum or even a soft see-through fabric if you had, or even like plastic sleeves, the ones that you would just get from a stationery store. Although I have used those before, and they do tend to be a little bit too slippery, so they're quite tricky to work with, but it's worth a go. I just thought this was a good way of using up some plastic and recycling it instead of throwing it in the garbage. So there you have my altered playing cards that are double-sided. Also, if you can see there where the stitching is, it's sort of, the machine has caught a little bit and looped it, which I actually really like. I was going to try and do that on purpose and forgot to actually add additional thread, but the machine has done it on its own, which I really like. So there you go, the cards are finished. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got inspired to try something new for your scrapbook or your junk journal. I would love it if you subscribed to my channel. I'll have more of these coming, as I have quite a lot more ideas to alter playing cards. And I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.